We welcome you to episode 20 of Battin Chattin here on the Eastern Observer alongside Denis Tuohy. I'm Brandon Natale. Now, before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept in the loop on everything Eastern Observer and, most importantly, Battin and Chattin. Now, our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Our show is presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download the newest hit single, Nothing Is Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, satellite radio, and many others. Now, there's been a lot going on in the baseball world. A lot of upsets, a lot of, definitely a lot of cold takes going on. As we are recording right now, the Dodgers are on pace right now to be swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's another upset. So it's definitely been a very interesting playoff so far. I know Dennis alluded to me earlier how you said it's been a very emotional playoff, or it hasn't been?
It really hasn't for me. I don't know if it's because my Yankees aren't in it, so I'm not like living and dying on every pitch like usual. But my Fish were in it, my Marlins were in it, and
I know you Fish are joining us right now.
I was yeah, my Fish are in the background right now. But listen, I don't know. Nothing's really.
I think it's been. I think it's been pretty interesting playoffs. I'm kind of shocked.
It's been very interesting because it's a lot of the non-usual teams. Like I was glad that the Yankees and Mets didn't like maybe it's just coping with my team being trash this year, but like I was glad that like the Yankees weren't in it and like the Padres weren't in it, the Giants weren't in it. Teams that we kind of expected to see, the Cardinals weren't in it. Teams that we expected to see that way, like the Diamondbacks have their day. I guess the Orioles ideally should have had their day. It was not a good day. Ice Cube would not make a song about it. But like this, just I'm glad that we kind of got new faces in there. Next team to get out of the Rays. I'm done with them.
The Rays.
I said it last week. I'm done with them.
Yeah, as we look, the Twins, they swept the Blue Jays. Texas, they swept. It was a sweep all around. It was a wild card sweep all around from each team. Whether it was the Phillies, it was Texas, it was the Blue Jays, the Diamondbacks. You played them, you were swept. That's how it was. Get the broom sweeping. People doing my job on the side.
Yeah, I mean, and even that, like, I'm kind of glad-ish about because, like, it would have been fun to have a game 3 or so. Wow, that was a good take. But, at the same time, too, it's also like, if you're good, be good. If you're bad, be bad. I kind of, there is no team in the wild card round that I thought left money on the table, so to speak. I thought all the teams that got eliminated played poorly. I thought all the teams that beat them played better. The better teams won, I guess is fair to say. I guess some people say, well, the Rays were hurt, but I kind of said it last week. If you're hurt every single year, after a while, I'm not giving you a pass.
Okay.
They
don't get the Dennis pass. They don't get
it's
the
my Chris Paul clause, is what I call it.
Okay.
Which is if an injury-prone player gets hurt every year in the playoffs, you can't count on them. The Rays pitching rotation. So, like the wild card round, it kind of felt, I don't know if monotonous is the word to go through it, but like the Blue Jays getting beaten up on, it's like, well, their offense kind of falls off every October. Right? Like the Marlins going into it, I wanted the Marlins to win, but them losing to the Phillies, I don't think that too many people were shocked.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if you go down the line, I don't really think there's anything huge. If you want to say maybe the Brewers losing to the Diamondbacks, okay. And look what the Diamondbacks have done. They've thrashed the Dodgers, currently up 4-0 in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Max Muncy, and didn't see that at bat, so I don't know.
He got a hit past shortstop.
Right, Max Muncy did, but who hit it the liner into center? It was a first pitch hit. I didn't.
Couldn't. Yeah, that I didn't see. I saw Muncy get on, but I didn't see the one just now.
Chris Taylor, who hit 3 homers in a game once in the postseason.
I feel like the Diamondbacks, no, not the Dodgers. They're starting to try to cook.
This is their inning.
Yeah, this is their inning.
You gotta get a run across the plate,
because the Diamondbacks have been cruising throughout most of the game, and so
throughout the entire series.
So yeah, so this game this inning right here.
Bro.
If they want to do something, this is the inning, or else I mean, you keep digging their holes,
Yeah. All right, so who's up now? All right, so it's Chris Taylor. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. God, I remember him in that one game wild card was it the Cardinals at Dodger Stadium in 21?
Say it again.
Was it against the one game playoff? Max Scherzer was on the mound for the Dodgers. Chris Taylor went off. He had 3 homers. Was it against the Cardinals?
Wait, Max Scherzer was.
I'm talking about 2021. Yeah, that season.
Who they played?
Yeah, in the wild card.
I think it was in the wild card. The Dodgers, really? They were in the wild card.
The year the Giants won it, the division one.
Oh, right, because the Giants were insane that year. They went like. Yeah, that's when Dave Kapler.
I think it was Adam Wainwright versus Max Scherzer, wasn't it?
Had it been, let me do my research.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm here.
2021
losing pitcher McFarland. Yes, it was. It was Scherzer versus Adam Wainwright, and Chris Taylor went bonkers. He hit the 2-1 homer. Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong game. It was 2. Yeah, he had a 2-run homer to end it. That's what it was in the bottom of the 9th. It was in the NLCS of that year against the Braves. He had the 3-homer game.
That's crazy to see the White Sox were in it that year too.
Well, how the mighty have fallen. All right, so 6 minutes in, I guess we should talk about the series that finished up. Unless, of course, you kind of want to just watch this half inning real quick, like kind of do like a little, not play-by-play, but just a little companion.
All right, yeah, I'm with it. Let's go. Yeah,
because I have all our notes and everything like that, but it's keep looking back anyway. So,
we're waiting right now. So I think let's start off for just bringing about the Astros real quick before that at bat comes up. So obviously the Astros, they eliminated the Twins to go to the 7th consecutive American League Championship Series. You can see the atmosphere in Houston watching, the games, whether it was game 2 that they lost, right, that they lost game 2, right?
Yep,
the Rose game 2. The atmosphere in Houston.
Big Muncie. 4-1.
All right, they're cooking.
Never underestimate the heart of champions.
Dodgers are trying to cook.
That might be the kiss of death. I remember saying that before the Wainwright start to my dad in 21. I said, Adam Wainwright's been here before, but whatever. Yeah. All right. So Astros, they do it again. They clinch on the road in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis at Target Field. And by the way, what a crowd from Minneapolis. A couple weeks ago, we had Gene Larkin on the Primetime Rundown, which you guys could check out on, obviously, where all podcasts are found.
Oh, yes.
Or on the Eastern Observer YouTube page or website. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about playing at the Metrodome in 87 and 91, obviously the 2 World Series teams for the Minnesota Twins, and how raucous those crowds were. And you heard it, man. You heard it again, especially the Blue Jays. They couldn't hear the third base coach and the dugout. So that's what, helped Correa, and that Sonny Gray had that pickoff on Vlad Guerrero last week. They brought it, man. They brought it. They were living and dying on every pitch. And unfortunately, the better team won. Like I said, sometimes you look at a series, not just in baseball, but in other sports, a series, or in the NFL, a one-gamer, and you kind of feel like the better team lost and left money on the table. Not this case. I just thought at the end of the day, I don't know if it was experience. I don't know if it's, and they're killing him with singles. 4-2. Oh, I love this. Old school baseball. Line drives, opposite field. Gets me going. Gets me going. Kike. Lot of storylines from 2021. I remember when Kike was the freaking best player in the world for a week for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
And just dragged them through to the ALCS. Unreal. Unreal. It's a good defensive effort too by the left fielder, Lord Scurriel Jr. But yeah, Twins. Carlos Correa had a fantastic series. Pablo Lopez dealt. Pablo Lopez won game 2 for the Twins. And excellent game. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, and a crazy strikeout total, which for some reason I didn't jot down earlier when I should have. But I think it was 7. 7. Oh, we got it. 7 and 1 walk. You're right.
Yeah, and I remember right when they took Verlander out in the first game, then that was the Twins were making a run. They were making a comeback almost.
Yeah, and they just couldn't do anything with runners in scoring position in that game. They got to Hector Neris. They started putting a beating on him. They put up 4 runs in there, and they just it couldn't. They just couldn't get him across because Jordan iced the game, which he's known for doing. But Verlander, yet again, dude's been doing it since 2005. Or,
Yeah.
excuse me, 2006, when the Tigers got to the World Series against the Cardinals. Been doing it a long time. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. I guess the book is kind of out on Verlander at this point. Not too dissimilar from Kershaw. If you get him in the first 2 innings, you can really do some damage if you get a run across then. But if he settles in those first 2 innings, it's game over.
Verlander?
As a tortured Yankee fan who he's gone up against them numerous times as a Tiger and as an Astro, I've just seen it so many times.
Yeah, like I said,
that's just the way you beat him.
Yeah, like I said, I was just watching Verlander, watching the game. He was dominant. Yeah, I remember just 2 outs, whether the count was 1-2, 0-2, or 2-2, and he's ready to end the inning. He would do it. He was clutch. He was great for them. And I know a lot of people were criticizing Houston for not bringing him out in the the 7th inning, because like I said, that's when the Twins were making that comeback, and because he was just dominant for them, and good for Verlander. It sucks that would have been interesting to see if the Mets made the playoffs. Hopefully, he would have been repeating the same success. It's crazy what think beginning of the year he was a Met, and then now he's back with Houston. But I mean, good for them either way. Good for Verlander either way. I mean, he's definitely a dominant pitcher. We've seen it throughout our childhood, throughout his baseball career. Like he is him. He is one of the best pitchers to do it. And Yordan Alvarez, he's insane. I remember when we saw him in 22 against the Yankees. The man destroyed they destroyed them. I think he was he drove in the first run
on the first freaking pitch. Who was that? They didn't even have his graphic up yet to know who was hitting, and he swung at the first pitch 3 inches below the zone.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh my god! What? That was like a pick 6 during a freaking 80-yard drive. What are you doing? Take the first pitch regardless. Take it. You have all the momentum in the world there. What are you doing?
But to think that this is their 7th consecutive LCS, Dennis, it's remarkable.
Yeah, and they're only 1 behind the 90s Braves for the record. Obviously, the LCS didn't exist for the first, 60, 70 years of baseball.
I saw this stat earlier.
It's a relatively kind of new, but the LCS only started in the mid 70s.
Wait, what do you mean? Really?
Late 60s?
Really? What do you
mean? Yeah. Well, because for years, it was only the American League winner and the National League winner would go to the World Series. That was it. Only 2 playoff teams. So I got to look this up. This is going to drive me crazy.
That's insane.
First league championship series. Oh, the spelling is ferocious today.
That's insane. So I guess baseball, I feel like
baseball, 1969.
Oh, wow, man.
Oh, your Mets.
I was going to say, 1969, Miracle Mets, man. There you go.
I think I knew that. Who'd you guys beat? Did you beat the Reds?
No, we beat the Orioles that year.
No, in the World Series, but who'd you beat in the LCS?
I think it was the Braves. I'm pretty sure it was the Braves.
Braves? Oh, that could make sense.
No.
Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy. I know the
I'm pretty sure it was the Braves.
1960s. Yes, you're right. Mets defeat a 3 out of 5 series.
Ding, ding,
3
ding,
out of
ding.
5 series.
Yeah. So there you go. The
Orioles
manager,
beat the Twins.
famous
Harmon
Met,
Killebrew
Gil
Twins.
Hodges. Mets manager was, Gil Hodges.
It was bobblehead.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I think my Uncle Tony was at the game they clinched it to win the World Series, or no, not win it. He was either at the game when they clinched it to head to the World Series, or when they clinched their division. And he said they couldn't run onto the field because I think it was my grandpa, was my great Uncle Tony that was with them, or they couldn't run onto the field. So that was the Atlanta Braves at the time.
What a wild! That's like another. We're gonna keep getting sidetracked. What a wild time, the '60s and '70s baseball, where you could just run onto the field. The iconic, was it Reggie Jackson from the
I think it was Reggie
Yankees,
Jackson, yeah.
who couldn't get to home plate? He had to touch it later on after the game ended. An umpire had to go out with him and see him touch home plate to officially timekeep the game over.
Really, I never knew that.
Yeah, because you couldn't get to it. Fans were blocking it.
Yeah, I hate
think
that.
It was him.
I'd be furious. Granted, no, I would love to. I wish they did that today.
Oh, it would be cool. It'd be like, it's like a college atmosphere. It's awesome.
Yeah, because college gets to do it. But why did the pros stop it? They should. I think one day they should. What?
Because of that. That was the reason why.
Oh, really? Are you serious, man? So fans ruined.
That's the reason why.
That moment ruined it for everybody else.
Security reasons and whatnot. Yep. Security in that part.
Right, because then I guess they could. They're gonna wander around the stadium and
Yeah, it's just too difficult.
I get it.
I
get it. Makes sense. So I'm not gonna argue. But any takeaways you want to say from the Astro series? Anything you added to take away from this heading into the ALCS?
Yordan Alvarez is Big Papi 2.0. He's the Terminator 2 version of David Ortiz. I saw some graphic. I've been saying this forever, but I saw some graphic up that kind of proved my point. I'll see if I sent it to myself. Saw it on Instagram, but to be honest with you, I might have lost it. Their stats are like almost identical in the postseason. If you look at like their peaks. So I thought it was kind of cool. Tell me I have it. 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 He doesn't have it. I thought it was really cool. Really cool. It might have been. Did somebody send it to me? Oh boy, this is going to be a long part. Going through. I definitely saw it somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. No. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, Charlie Brown mode.
There you go.
So, I just don't care what the stats are. I mean, what the what the situation is. Like, Yordan Alvarez is just a beast. 438 batting average across 3 games, 4 homers, 6 RBIs, 21 total bases. I honestly think he's the most underappreciated position player in the league. I get that the defense isn't great, anything to write home. I get it. But offensively, the guy's just a freaking super weapon.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how gifted this guy is at hitting. He's one of the best players ever, lefty on lefty. And I mean, just this season alone, he played in 114 games. That's not that much. Batted .293 with 31 homers, 97 RBIs, 92 strikeouts, 69 walks, an OPS plus 170. League average is 100. 120 hits, 77 runs, 24 doubles, a triple, and was named an all-star despite at that point being gone for like almost a month. So unbelievable. He's one of those guys, if he can stay healthy for a complete 150 games, easy MVP. Easy. He's just as, honestly, he's just as good as Judge, just as good as Trout, just as good as Ohtani, just as good as all the American League hitters. It's just a matter of him staying healthy. When that guy's in, unbelievable.
He is him.
It's like he puts the fear of God in you. And another guy on the Astros who's kind of like that, Michael Brantley, who's just, Dusty just calls him a professional hitter. And that's the best way to describe him. He's played in 57 postseason games now and just consistent.
Amazing.
The guy, he struck out earlier tonight, but it feels like that's such an anomaly with him. Every single at bat, it's like I've never seen the guy not get on base and have less than a 5-pitch at bat. It's like a full count every time the guy gets up there. It's unbelievable how gifted that guy is. And I think people kind of take it for granted. Because I remember when he was young with the then Indians, now Guardians, and when he first came to the league, I guess 2009, 2010, and he was like an athletic outfielder. And as he's gotten older, it's just he can't run like he used to. He can't throw like he used to. But the dude could hit that ball. Just the IQ, the baseball IQ on that guy is unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Okay. So the Astros, man, yet again. And Altuve didn't have a very, he didn't have a series to write home about. He did reach base every single at-bat last game, if I'm not mistaken, or the 3 straight at-bats. Really, solid players. 1 through 9, solid players. Even their bench, Mauricio Dubon, he's pretty good. They're starting, oh my God, I'm forgetting this kid's name again. I told myself I wasn't going to do it. I wrote it down so I wouldn't do it. And I did it anyway. Yenier Diaz. He's coming off the bench for them. He had a terrific season. They just got so many players. Maldonado isn't a great offensive player, but he puts the ball in play. So when he's up, they do hit and runs and whatnot. It's just, man.
Whew. Yeah. But hey, good for them. And I know this ALCS should be interesting. Correct me. I got to correct myself again.
Yeah.
ALCS, I will make that correction. That's on me. The ALCS should be pretty interesting because the Texas Rangers, they are the ones going to the ALCS instead of the Baltimore Orioles, who we here at Battin and Chattin were very heavy on.
We were very high on them.
We were very high on them, and they, it's, it wasn't. Now it's not looking good. Well, on our part, but hey, it is what it is. They're heading now to the first American League Championship Series since 2011. They will face the Astros for the first time in postseason history, creating the inaugural Lone Star Series. Yeah, because obviously, Texas, it's like the battle. In a way, Dennis, am I wrong? It's like a civil war inside a state.
Yeah, it's like a Subway Series, or if we want to go 80s baseball, the Battle of the Bay, Giants, A's. I'm just calling them the Padres. It's cool. What was
Battle of the Bay?
The I-95 series, Phillies, Orioles in the 80s as well.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
But there's been a bunch, but Astros coming into the American League in 2013, and now they're finally facing off in the postseason, man.
Yeah, the inaugural Lone Star Series, as there are no probables just yet. But the first game is slated for Sunday, October 15th at 8 p.m. on Fox. The Rangers have outscored the O's 21-11 across the 3-game series, as they made it like it was no issue. And I have to say, they literally, there was no issues. Texas went in there, did their job, and that was it. They went on the business trip, and that was it. The Rangers, I remember watching Game 1 and seeing, Rangers up, and it was 9th inning. I know they had a base runner, but Jonah Heim, the catcher on Texas, who was the base runner, Dennis?
Gunnar Henderson, who's likely going to be the American League Rookie of the Year.
Right. Everyone's been saying he's likely going to be Rookie of the Year. He wasn't even debatable. He was out by a mile, maybe even 100, without a second. And just seeing the excitement from him and just from the Rangers dugout. And honestly, I think you can make the argument that play right there, that kind of showed the momentum that Texas had, and they carried that right throughout the next couple of games.
Yeah, so what happened was Aaron Hicks, former Yankee,
was at bat,
and he missed a hit and run sign. So Gunnar Henderson went and he took a pitch, and Gunnar Henderson was gunned down.
Oh, that sucks.
And so people were kind of piling on Aaron Hicks for that, and it was a great throw by Jonah Heim. That being said, if it's a hit and run, like you're still stealing the base.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
You're just supposed to hit it.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like, oh, Aaron Hicks with another dumb decision.
I was getting ready.
How can they put the blame on Gunnar Henderson? It's like not for nothing, but like, all right, so he missed a sign, but that doesn't mean it's an excuse to get caught.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's,
yeah, no matter what, you still.
I
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
agree.
thought like it is what it is.
Yeah,
but,
no. At the end of the day, it's just miscommunication, and that happened.
Yeah,
You know, it happens.
oh.
It's the game of baseball. No one's perfect. I was kind of exciting. I was getting excited because I was ready for Aaron Hicks to do something. The former Yankee, now Baltimore Oriole. I was ready for the script. I thought that was what was going on in the script. You know.
Yeah, and by the way,
I just know that didn't happen.
So everybody dumps on Aaron Hicks, and then he just goes on to have easily the best series of any player on the team. He had that 3-run homer in Game 2, which made it a game. So I don't understand. I understand. Like, I get that people don't like Aaron Hicks, but at the same time, too, it's also like, you know what? He's also the only player on your team that actually knew the playoffs started. They got smoked. Dude, they had 11 walks in Game 2.
Ooh,
11 walks. The pitching staff let up 11 walks.
That'll do it.
What are we doing? Right? Like, I mean, it's easy for me to say because I've never played in the big leagues. Shocking, I know. But 11-8, you lose. And when the Orioles put up that kind of like 8, I was kind of like, you know what? They might have something here. And this is the same game that Aaron Hicks, he had 5 RBIs. But let's talk about a missed hit and run. Okay.
Yeah.
On 2 hits. Okay. The team had 11 walks. 11. I can't stop saying that.
They had 11 walks.
That is astounding to me.
They had 11 walks, Dennis.
You can argue that out of the 5 games the Rangers played, they only needed to win 3 of them in the postseason. The Rays threw away Game 1, literally. They made how many errors? They had 4 errors on the game. They probably could have gotten like 6 or 7 charged. Not to mention, you want to talk about walks, Tyler Glasnow was spiking it. I mean, like, unreal. This Rangers team, man. Unreal.
I mean, hey, kudos to them. I mean, they're doing this without DeGrom and Scherzer and
yeah.
You know, like I know Valdi is kind of leading that rotation, right? Or is it he or is it?
Oh, we definitely have Valdi. My God, you want to talk about a stat line? I got it up from here, from the clinching game yesterday night. I mean, a postseason. This is supposed to be one of their guys who's been in postseasons before. Obviously, that epic 2018 performance against the Dodgers, a losing effort, but he saved the bullpen. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. Thanks for playing. Clinched the series at home in Globe Life Park. So, unreal. Yeah. Unreal.
Very unreal.
This Rangers team, and the knock on them has been the bullpen. The bullpen's been fine. Chapman, I get it. It's a very bend, don't break bullpen. Leclerc and Chapman, but when you got guys that can hit like that, like the Orioles had a big rally. They scored 8 runs, and it's like, oh yeah, but we scored 11. Yeah, like it's unbelievable.
Ooh.
3 outs, series over?
Not yet.
Oh, that's the middle of the 8th. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, especially good for Texas because, like I said, I mean, they were riding high on the season. It would have been a disappointment if they didn't make it this far, honestly. Now it's just them in Houston. It's going to be a very interesting Lone Star series.
And 2 totally different teams.
Yeah.
The Astros, Altuve, Yordan, who they acquired from the Dodgers years ago, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Pena. Mauricio Dubon was a guy who was kind of left for scraps by the Giants. Framber Valdez, a lot of guys that are either reclamation projects or came up through their team versus a team that's, tried and some parts succeeded and some parts failed to buy a championship. Max Scherzer, free agent. Well, excuse me, DeGrom, free agent. Seager and Semien is almost $500 million between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's very different ideologies, someone would argue. But also, they have their fair share of trades and reclamation projects. Chapman, obviously. Mitch Garver kind of had a rough last season with the Twins. He had a very good, 2020? Or, 2020 or 19. One of those years he went off. And then was just kind of average or to below average, quite frankly. Afterwards with Minnesota, they get him in that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa deal. And he's been great for them. And now you have Jonah Heim, you have Josh Jung, you have Evan Carter. Really good team. The pitching, once again, is a little sketchy, and there's no word on if Max Scherzer is going to be pitching in the ALCS yet. But
right,
you win in 3 games, maybe. It's unreal. Yeah. I just saw TBS. This really freaked me out for a second. That TBS was showing a commercial for Modern Family reruns. I looked up. I was like, that show's coming back? What? Can't wait.
I'll imagine.
Yeah.
But now let's move on to the next team, the Phillies and the Braves. Now that series hasn't ended yet.
Let's watch.
But TV. Man, have the Phillies? They it looks like they have their leaving off from where they were last postseason when even as a wild card team they're dominating, especially against the Braves, which I like to see. But hey, they're still a good team. The Mets are out, so I can't say anything. So now the Phillies and the Braves sort of have the division on lock. But kudos to them. Just great series. They now, as of now, before we could say anything, the Phillies have a 2-1 lead over the Braves. They just won today, 10-2. Mm-hmm. Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos of the Phillies are the 4th pair of teammates in postseason history to each hit multiple home runs in the same game, joining Hall of Famers Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Wow, that's a cool combination. Will Myers and Fernando Tatis, AJ Pollock and Chris Taylor of the Dodgers. From 2021. Tatis and Myers were in 2011 and were in 2020, not 2011.
Yeah, it is unbelievable when as somebody who's covered them all season long. And Gehrig and Ruth did it in 1932. But it is unreal. I've covered the Phillies all season long. When their lineup clicks, it's the best lineup in baseball. I don't want to hear about your stats. I don't. I don't want to hear about the Braves stats. I don't want to hear about the Rangers stats. It is insane how they can just brutalize any team in the league. Just brutalize them. Already they've been outscoring the Braves pretty handily this series. It feels like, at least, they kind of let Game 2 slip away from them. All right, so it's a little less than I thought. Maybe I was thinking of Miami, but 17 runs in 3 games with 6 allowed. That's just insane.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people kind of say, things like insane or phenomenal or outstanding, whatever, those kinds of words to describe stuff, adjectives, right? But it really is. The highest run scoring team in the league was the Braves, who averaged 5.85. So they've held them. Their pitching, so it's not just their hitting that gets it. Their pitching has held them to a little above that average by 0.15 in 2 games. Just in 2 games, they shut them out. They shut them out for the first time at home this season. The Braves were shut out in Game 1. And now they got Spencer Strider. And what were the fans chanting to who could win the National League Cy Young Award? What were the Phillies fans chanting? We want Strider. They're not afraid of him. They're not afraid of him. The lineup's not afraid of him either, because they got to him in game 1.
Yeah.
They got to last year he was injured, so they didn't play. He didn't play against them in the playoffs, but
they still got him.
They still won the series.
Yeah.
And last year, it was game 4 at Citizens Bank Park. Bedlam at the bank, right? They won. They clinch an NLCS spot. They could do the same exact thing this year. The exact same thing. It's just like ridiculous. And earlier this season, I was criticizing the Phillies bullpen. They've been outstanding. They've been outstanding in the playoffs. Really, really good. Matt Strum has been a little shaky. He was much better to start the season off. But Sir Anthony Dominguez, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to Austin Riley blew it right by him. Austin Riley, one of the best hitters in the league.
Yeah, best third baseman too. And one of the best.
Bryce Harper obviously had that base running blunder to end game 2 in Atlanta. After the Phillies lost, they blew the game. After Wheeler had a terrific start.
Yeah, I was watching that.
And then Orlando Arcia, shortstop of the Braves, kind of laughs at Harper. Kind of says something like "Thank you, Harper" or whatever it was.
Yeah,
the quotes around. Everybody's seen it at this point.
Right about that, yeah.
That's the wrong guy to piss off. That is the wrong dude to piss off. As he goes on to have 2 homers in the same game today. Unreal. Trey Turner hit a bomb. Brandon Marsh hit a bomb. Brandon Marsh. He had a very good start to the season, but he's okay. He's like a glove first guy for them. He's a glove first guy for the Phillies. One of the only glove first guys they have, but he's not a guy that you expect to hit a homer, and just like the freaking Mortal Kombat rips the heart out of the Braves and eats it. And just like, what are you gonna do? And I'm sorry, I was about to say the Dodgers down to their last out. They're in the field. That's embarrassing. Chris Taylor shags that one. Who's that? Gabriel Moreno still at first base. Evan Phillips trying to keep the Dodgers in it. But these Phillies, man, I'm kind of looking around. I don't think there's another team that's as good as the Phillies right now.
Yeah, the Phillies are hot. I mean, how can you deny them? They're the Citizens Bank. The crowd's going nuts. They got, like you said, if everybody's hitting, Brandon Marsh is, nobody would ever thought he would contribute the way he's doing. Everybody's contributing behind the plate, and good for Bryce Harper too. Because I mean, when he left and he went to the Nationals, no one was thinking that the Phillies were going to do anything. But looking back 4 years later, last year they went to the World Series. This year they look just as good as they did last year around this time. They're just all around. They're just a team that's coming together. I know Zach Wheeler, he pitched good the other night.
Yeah, he had a really good game. I got to get stats up for that because
just
respect.
The Phillies are a team right now that should not be reckoned with, and Phillies Diamondbacks. It's looking like that's what's going to be the potential CS.
Yeah, Diamondbacks are going to win tonight, and yeah, you're right. It's going to be Diamondbacks. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but yeah, it could be Phillies Diamondbacks. Who would have thought at the start of the season, Phillies Diamondbacks as an NLCS or Braves Diamondbacks, either which one. Diamondbacks being in there is crazy. Jeff Hoffman blew the game 2. He had 0.1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 2 earned runs. Braves win 5-4. But show a little respect to Zach Wheeler, 6.1 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, 1 homer. So just a really good game for him. He kept them in it. And he scored 4 runs. That's usually enough. Jeff Hoffman, who's had a very good season for the Phillies, just can hold on to it. That happens. Happens. It's why it's not a 1-game playoff anymore. It's, a series.
Is what it is now.
Yeah.
But it should be very interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Strider versus Ranger Suarez, who are the projected starters for Game 3. They faced off in Game 1. So I'm like, I have something stuck in my throat. Box score. Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no.
Tried to pitch through it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Jeff Hoffman, our boy, got the win in Game 1. He went 0.1 inning pitch. Thanks. 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. What a gig. Ranger Suarez went 3.2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, only 53 pitches. So they really relied on that bullpen. Sir Anthony Dominguez in particular, 22 pitches, 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, and they shut out the Braves. Spencer Strider, 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 5 hits, and they had 2 unearned runs. The Braves did. It happens. So this really is anybody's ball game. Yes, Strider lost Game 1 for the Braves, but at the same time, too, it's not like he had a bad game. He did have a pickoff error, which got Harper in scoring position. Bryson Stott hit an RBI single. Listen, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. And because we're recording tonight, I'm going out with the boys to watch it. Can't wait. Going to get some buddy. I don't know if you're working tomorrow night, but you're welcome to join us.
How long? Well, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll get back to you on that. I likely will be working, but I appreciate the invite.
Of course.
Let me know. And I'll see. I mean, maybe I'll see if I can come out after. We'll see.
Yeah, it's my co-host too.
Yeah.
A couple brews, watch a game. I'm excited. Who do you got
for Phillies Braves?
Yeah, so fix my hair again.
Depends who's pitching.
Strider Suarez.
I'd say Phillies. Maybe, but I wouldn't go against the Braves because maybe Strider has maybe adjusted and hopefully, he found a way to get in a groove against the Phillies. So I don't want to count. I don't want to count the Braves out yet. We shouldn't count them out. They're the reason why they were so dominant this year for a reason. I mean, like I said, I'm a Met fan. But sometimes I got to be realistic. The Braves were, a very dominant team, and so I mean, if they were to fall like this again compared to last year, then then why are they in the playoffs?
Yeah, it is one thing to point out. No Charlie Morton yet for the Braves. Max Fried coming off an injury into this series. So the Braves have been a little more banged up than the Phillies. One thing I have to credit to the Phillies, the second half of the season, they're very healthy. They're not really missing any big pieces to their team at all. I don't think Rhys Hoskins is the only guy they're without, the first baseman. But Bryce Harper now plays first base, plays it pretty dang good, which opens up that DH spot for Kyle Schwarber. He can have Brandon Marsh or Johan Rojas in the outfield, or Christian Pache, whichever one they want to go with. So, dude, it's a really good balanced roster.
Yeah,
it's like a really, now that everybody's in form, their lineup we obviously knew was good. The pitching rotation has really turned out well. Even if they don't want to go Ranger Suarez, all right, give us a couple innings. I could throw out Christopher Sanchez. I could throw out Taijuan Walker. Oh, and by the way, Michael Lorenzen threw a no-hitter earlier this season. How you doing? So, it's who knows? Who knows? It's anybody's game. It's going to be exciting. And it is down to the final 3 outs for the Dodgers of Los Angeles. Paul Sewald, the closer, who they got at the deadline from Seattle. 62
former
games.
Met. He was a former Met too.
3.12 ERA on the season. Yeah.
Did you know that, Dennis?
I got to say, there's a lot of that going around this postseason.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I agree.
Verlander just shoved for the Astros.
Tommy Pham too on the Diamondbacks too. So
yeah, Tommy Pham. Mark Canha on the Brewers dragged their offense into the postseason. Here's the funky Muncie. 1-1.
I guess this leads into the question you had for us. Do you think the current playoff format is a disadvantage to the higher seeds? You want to read off the stats before we get into it?
I would love to, especially because I got them
As
via
you know,
Wikipedia by
as
just
you,
going back and looking at last year's postseason. I know, I know. Thankless job. No, so the 2022 National League record teams with a bye for the wild card round. So this was the Los Angeles Dodgers who won the National League West and the Atlanta Braves who won the National League East. What year is it? And they ended 2-6 combined. The 2022 AL teams with a bye, Yankees and Astros, were 6-2 in the DS round, with the Astros sweeping Seattle 3-0. 2023 1-4 for the National League currently. We'll see how this Dodger game ends up as Max Muncy strikes out, 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. And then for the American League, 3-3. So total across 2 seasons, the National League have gone 3-10, obviously excluding tonight, as there's some life mystery guy who I didn't see earlier. Oh, is it Will Smith? Will Smith hits a single. National League currently, once again, not including Diamondbacks, Dodgers, 3-10 between the 2 seasons, and the American League 9-5. So a lot of fans were talking about this, and Brian Snicker of the Braves was talking about this last season after the Braves were unceremoniously eliminated by the Philadelphia Phillies, Citizens Bank Park. You know, the extra rest, the bye week, is it really necessary? How can we overcome this? And I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I'll share mine after yours.
what's that?
On the playoff format, if you think it's disadvantageous to the top 2 seeds in the league. Because it's interesting. The American League seems to be doing very favorably with it. The Orioles got swept, but last year, the Astros did sweep. The Yankees 1-5 against the pesky Guardians team. This year, the Astros 1-3, 4. So kind of a tale of 2 leagues. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to change it, I don't feel you would have to change it for both the National League and the AL. You know what I mean? So if the National League's having a problem with it, then I mean, something they could really. I mean, you would have to change it for both sides, because it has to be fair and equal. But I don't think they're going to do that, obviously. Oh shoot!
How many ballparks is that gone in? He's on the warning track. Over the shoulder. What a play by Corbin Carroll.
Now the Dodgers are down to their last out.
And who's stepping up? Was that JD Martinez?
He knew it too, Chris Taylor.
Oh, it's Chris Taylor. I get them confused. It's that 5 o'clock shadow thing they got going on. Who is it? Who dat? Come on, show me who it is. Is that Kige? Just looking at the stance.
Show me the money.
Oh my god. Do I have to turn the game volume on? Oh, it is. It's my boy Kike. Enrique Hernandez.
He's having a good game.
Paul
wow.
Sewell.
Great postseason
looks
too.
old.
Great postseason too.
Good eye for Kike. Yeah, once again, I just remember when he was with the Red Sox in 21 and just like set the world on fire for 3 weeks.
Paul Sewell
chewing on some bubble gum. 2-1. Oh, the Arizona crowd on the edge of their seats, buddy.
This is cool. This is cool watching this as we were doing this,
Yeah, I know, right? Paul Sewald having trouble with the pitch comp. Shakes off Gabriel Moreno. Did he hold up? He didn't. 2-2. Oh, my gosh.
Turn the volume up just why not? I hate when remotes don't work, man.
Dude, my remote in my bedroom doesn't work. I'm really mad. I have to get up every time I want to change the volume.
There you go.
Very frustrating.
Sometimes I got to bang on it, and it'll literally work. Like, it's perfect.
I have one of those universal remotes.
Great, this is it. Do you think this is it right here, Dennis?
I do.
Oh, wow.
And they've gone to the NLCS for the first time since 2001. Congratulations to the Diamondbacks.
Wow, that's amazing. I got clap up.
Good for them. Good for the boys. Good for the boys. When was the last time Diamondbacks? It has to be 2001. So we're in the NLCS.
Wow, look how excited they are. That's a team that's full of energy and deserving to be there.
2023. Wow. What is this? Postseason results. They got to the NLCS against the Rockies in 2007? Huh. They got swept in October.
Man, I feel bad for the Dodgers. Just look at their faces.
They got swept. The Dodgers got swept, bro.
Yeah.
They are shell-shocked.
I feel like that's their face every year, though.
Oh, well, this year it came down to the pitching. Kershaw, we got to say it. He had historically the worst start ever. 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 0.1 inning pitched. It's the worst ever in the postseason. So, like, as much as I like my guy and I have his jersey and whatnot, really sit them back. And then game 2 wasn't much better.
Yeah.
And then game today, Lance Lynn couldn't get it out of the 3rd inning. At some point, like, okay, yes, you should expect more out of Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. The lineup kind of went cold. They didn't score a lot, but they never had a chance. It was never a series. Never a series. So our stats have to be updated now. In this new era, it is 3-11. Pretty good band. Indifferent on them, but they're pretty decent.
What do you think, Dennis? Do you think it's a disadvantage?
I don't know. Because if the American League didn't seem to flourish with it, I don't know. As a Yankee fan who watched my team play with the new rules in the DS last year and have the bye, the Yankees did seem a little slow out of the gate, but the Guardians had played them well all year. They had played them in 2 series, and the Guardians had played them well both times. So I kind of just threw it away. But the National League fans online, what Brian Snitker said last year, the manager of the Braves,
yeah,
it seems that a lot of National League fans are kind of pissy about it. I don't know. Like, listen, could you imagine if the Rangers had the bye this year and not the Astros? Let's say the Rangers had the bye. And let's say with that extra day, there's that extra week off, Max Scherzer could come back. It doesn't matter what the other team's lineup looks like at that point. You'll take it 100 times.
Yeah.
So I guess it just matters what it is. I don't think the bye is why the Dodgers lost this year. I don't. And I don't think if the Braves lose, it's why they lost either. I think pound for pound, roster for roster, I think the Phillies are better. And I've been saying it for the past month on here.
You have been,
I don't care that the Phillies are going to win the National League.
You cover them.
Literally the only team I have left. I've gotten every other playoff team wrong.
You cover them, so you know.
So whatever happens is how I felt.
Yeah. Okay.
But for the American League, like the Orioles lost and the Rangers were red hot. Okay, fine. That maybe there is something to it. But we can flip it. Bruce Bochy is one of the winningest managers ever. Has 3 rings and 4 pennants, winning with the 1998 Padres, as we talked about last week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Their pitching coach Greg Maddox's brother, whose first name I always forget. He's one of the best pitching coaches in the league. Rangers pitching coach. I got to do it now because I always forget this guy's name. But you have guys. You have a 2020. I get it. Some people would say, and actually, this is Mike Maddox. Mike Maddox is their pitching coach. How many deep playoff runs did the Cardinals get through? He's got 2 rings with them.
Yeah.
So you have a very experienced coaching staff. Max Scherzer's on that team, even though he hasn't been playing. He's a veteran. He's won a ring. He's played in 2, 3 World Series. So, you have a veteran team, man. And the Orioles are a young team. Brendan Hyde, I give him all the credit in the world. He had, aside from Casey Stengel, the only manager in history to manage both a 100-loss team and a 100-win team in the same tenure. I respect him. I respect what he's done. They have a lot of talent on that roster. This was the first time they were swept in the Adley-Rutschman era. They've never been swept since calling up Adley until now. It's tough. It's definitely something I want to see more of a sample size from. And I think it's one of those, if you lose, you blame it. And if you win, you don't.
Yeah.
I think regardless, the Astros were going to beat Seattle last year regardless. The Yankees were going to beat Cleveland regardless last year. I think the Rangers, especially after how Game 1 ended, they snatched the soul out of the Orioles. And maybe you can say one team has more veteran presence in other facets. The other team doesn't. The other team has a better manager. The other team has a better pitching coach. That's the thing with the Orioles. The pitching all year was a little suspect, and they heated up towards the end. And John Means, people kind of forget, was supposed to be their franchise guy, but missed just about all of last season and this season. He came back with a few weeks to go and was dynamite. He gets hurt. He doesn't pitch in this round. So who knows? Who knows what can happen?
Who knows? Now,
I will also say once again, does any kind of bye-week rust have to do with 11 walks? That is. I'm going to keep going back to it because that's
you can't get over this, man. 11 walks.
As a team, that's insane.
I would be the same.
I'm not going
to. Me personally, I would be the same. Because come on. But some non-postseason talk. I know you wanted to bring up something that happened a couple weeks ago by the Mariners GM Jerry Deporto. Can you explain it? Can you elaborate on that, Dennis?
All right. So I'm going to ask you another question. I was thinking about. All right. So nobody wants to hear the goal this year is we're going to win 54% of the time. Because sometimes I don't know if this is from a column or whatnot, but because sometimes 54% is one year, you're going to win 60%. Another year, you're going to win 50%. It is what it is. But over time, that type of mindset gets you there. He's talking about how to build a sustainable winning culture. So some of the data on this support the claim that if you look at all the winningest teams in the sports history, they averaged 54%. Every single World Series team, just about, average 54% wins in a 10-year frame. Okay. I'm not going to argue with it, the math behind it, but I will saying, and that was just an excerpt, it wasn't the full statement, right. Telling a team that hadn't been to the postseason in 21 years to be patient is mind-boggling to me. When you think of all the talent they wasted over the years. Felix Hernandez, Ichiro, Robinson Cano had a really good year for them. Nelson Cruz had some good years for them. Edwin Diaz had some good years. Kyle Seager, Sean Figgins. I feel like there's another guy who they had. They had a lot of guys that were good. The good players. And they can never get to the postseason. And a lot of that time, 12 of those years, it was a 4-team division, which is a huge advantage to have. And then obviously, like we discussed earlier, the Astros moved from the NL Central to the AL West in 2013. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand the new year, the new baseball. Talk about the numbers. That's something, man. Keep it to yourself.
I agree. Yeah,
Keep
I
it to
agree.
yourself. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, I mean, all I gotta say, if you said that in the New York market,
Oh,
forget about it. You'd be on the columns, every column for like the next 6 months, probably for the whole season.
yeah.
Like
You
because
think?
but imagine you say that to a bleacher creature at Yankee Stadium. You know, imagine telling that to a Met
Buddy,
fan who's
it has been 14 years, not since the Yankees made the playoffs, but since they got to a World Series. And Yankee
and the
fans
Mets got close to
want
their
to
cricket.
tar and feather the owner of the team.
Yeah, they want to go
It
nuts.
is
Like Jesus.
insane.
Yeah, Yankees fans don't got any patience.
No, no. And you know me, I'm like a more reasonable Yankee fan
You are pretty
because I'm a
reasonable, yeah.
baseball fan. I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a Yankee fan second.
But Yankees fans are your team. The Yankees are
Yankees
your
are
team.
definitely my favorite team in all of
Yankees are your
sports,
team. Yeah,
100%. But I'm a baseball fan first. So
right.
I know that, listen, 70 years since the Guardians won a World Series. What have the Rockies done? They've been to one World Series ever. Diamondbacks have been to one ever. Mariners have never even been there. Angels haven't been there since 02. Like we could just go to Pirates since the 70s.
Yeah.
Padres.
The A's.
Ever. Well, 98 was the last time the Padres were there. The
No,
A's, the last time they were there was 1989.
or
No,
the
excuse me,
Padres. Yeah.
1990, when the A's got swept by Cincinnati. Listen, I get it. I get the Yankee fan frustrations. I get Met fan frustration. I get all that. But listen, the turmoil that the freaking Mariners fans have been through. They had A-Rod, Randy Johnson, and Ken Griffey Jr. all before they got Ichiro in
Yeah.
free agency. Could you imagine? If they held on to Randy Johnson, never traded him away, held on to Ken Griffey Jr., held on to A-Rod, and then got Ichiro?
Ooh, that's
Oh
scary.
my
That's scary.
God.
That's scary to think of.
You know what I mean? Like that fan base has been through so much. And then you say our goal is to win 54% of the game. Open the freaking checkbook and put together a better winning team. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I definitely,
Was it Cal Raleigh? Was it Cal Raleigh who had said something like that after they got eliminated? That you look at the other teams in the league and what they did at the trade deadline, and you look at us.
we're looking all right.
We should do more and get guys in there that could do it. The player said that. I surmised it, but or was it Ty France? I forget one of them, but
I just absolutely,
Seattle must be nice.
But yeah, I like I said, you say that in the New York market, that's definitely not going to fly well. That's all I got to say.
Same thing with Boston.
Boston
fans want to sell the Red Sox, not get a new GM, not fire Hein Bloom. Sell the Red Sox, get John Henry out of ownership because they haven't won a World Series since 2018.
That's bad. Come on, Boston fans. Come on. They're spoiled with championships.
To be fair, the guy would rather buy a soccer team and run it into the ground than hold on to Mookie Betts. I get that. But what I'm just saying is,
to be fair, Boston is spoiled with championships. To say if that's true though, that they want to sell their team after that, like, are you serious? Like, do me a favor.
Oh, buddy, you need to start reading baseball comments more. You need to start getting plugged in with fan bases. I'm underselling their hatred for their front office.
That's bad though. Like, come on.
It's the Mookie Betts trade is where it stems from. And I get it. It was unequivocally one of the worst trades I've ever seen in the history of sports.
Trust me, the Mets are hungry. Like, we're hungry for World Series. I mean, trust me, it's not getting easier. It's just, I think we're kind of used to it. So now it's kind of like,
Let me ask you something. If you're a Mets fan, you just got this new president of baseball operations, David Stearns. He comes in, opening press conference. He says, our goal is to win 54% of games in a 10-year window. Your thoughts?
Right away, it would have Met fans concerned right away.
Not Met fans, Brandon.
Me?
What would you think?
I would be like, all right, maybe this is a red flag. Then maybe this is not who we thought we were getting.
Okay.
Like, you know
Reasonable.
what I mean? I would not be thrown with it. Like right away, I liked the press conference because obviously excited about being working for the Mets. Um, Pete, saying how Pete Alonso will be the first baseman for the team come opening day.
Mhm.
For a long time, but if he came out and like I said, and like I told you, if he came out and said that, then no. I mean, what people want to hear is that we're gonna win. That's what they want to hear.
Right.
Um,
Who goes to win a ring?
sometimes you got to be. I mean, I get it, trying to be realistic, but not from that aspect. You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's just my thoughts on that. But yeah,
It's crazy.
you excited for the rest of the excited for tomorrow?
I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I really am.
But anything else
I'm
before we
really
wrap
stoked.
up?
I have a question for you.
Sure,
They
go
just
ahead.
got eliminated tonight. We know 10 division championships in 11 seasons for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They won in 2020, the bubble year. Is that a legitimate championship?
Yeah, man, yeah, it's tough. You still there?
Yeah, I was just repositioning my seating.
I got you. Um, mm, uh, I mean, it still counted. Season counted. They agreed on it. 60 games. I mean, a lot of people have the debates on it. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. But I mean, in a way, it counts. I mean, still a season technically. They were playing. It's really tough. I don't know. I don't even know how to really make my assessment on that because there's a lot. You can make the argument it's not because that wasn't a full season, but then you can because, like I said, they played. It's just But what do you think, Dennis?
If you asked me before, if you asked me opening day of this season, I would have said absolutely, 100%. Now I'm kind of starting to second guess it.
Really?
And I was staunchly in the whole like it's a season happened, like it is what it is. The Lakers is a little different for me because of the reason that I felt that the Dodgers were really good before and after that season. So kind of just the law of averages, like sure, yeah, they would have lucked into one. But now it kind of is. And they went all in before that season. They lost Corey Seager afterwards. I don't know anymore. I'm kind of conflicted on it, but I think ultimately I side with it's a legitimate championship.
Yeah, yeah.
The first Mookie Betts season,
He signed that big contract. Yeah.
Kershaw, Julio Urias without
Justin
smacking
Turner.
his wife around. You have Justin Turner, Max Muncy had a good season that year.
Yeah, it's
Like you
definitely not.
had young Will Smith. Like they had a good roster.
Yeah, Julio Urias before he faced legal trouble.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that's the other thing too. Like we could dump on like, oh, how like the fraudulent Dodgers, lol Dodgers, ho ho ho. Those jokes are so stupid. Like low bets, whatever. It's like that's as funny as like a kindergartner saying like poop. Um, but like you want to talk about a bad string of luck? Their pitching rotation could have been Clayton Kershaw, Walker Bueller, Trevor Bauer, Julio Urias, and literally anybody. And I think everybody would have said that's the best rotation in baseball. Three of those guys didn't pitch the series. One of those guys had historically the worst start ever in the postseason. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
At some point, like as I feel like that ring should count. Obviously, it does count in a literal sense. I feel like that ring should count just because I kind of feel bad. I'm serious. Like I feel bad for like Max Muncy and
Yeah.
Will Smith and Clayton Kershaw. That's like the string of luck that they've had. All things considered, is pretty bad.
Yeah, just I mean, well, they've had made it to the World Series in 17 and 18, so it's not like they haven't been there. But I mean, they didn't win it those years. The
And
Astros with that scandal and Boston.
right,
And then I remember the next year they Game 5 against the Nationals, they lost that because Nationals were on that postseason run. So it just hasn't been easy for them.
I'll never forget that game 5. It's one of like my core baseball like sports memories now. Isn't just the meltdown of Kershaw against Anthony Rendon, but when Kershaw was warming up. And usually like you always hear like the guys warming up and it's mic'd up so you could hear like the popping of the glove.
Yeah.
He was throwing gas in the bullpen. That it sounded like freaking cannon shots in the bullpen. And I was like, oh, it's over. That kind of sense of dread you get when like a team you're rooting for is about to lose. I was rooting for the Nationals at the time. I got that, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be a rough." Oh, that's kind of cool. So there's some kind of alternate cast of Pedro, Albert Pujols, Nestor Cortez, Yonder Alonso, and more on True TV. Oh, streaming, great.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, True TV is a regular network. That's the Impractical Jokers 24/7 network. Yeah.
24/7. Yeah.
Yeah, like how ridiculous it is with TV. No, but it's just the run this Dodgers team has had is unbelievable. I really hope Kershaw comes back for another year. I don't want the last game he had to be the worst start ever.
Why does he keep having like 1-year deals?
Dude, he's getting older.
Right.
He's technically the same age as DeGrom, or maybe like a year older. For those of you who are a little more plugged in on that. But like, I'll help you out and tell you why he could retire at any moment. He's been in the league since 2008, and he's pitched 2,717 innings. He's faced. There's usually a batter's faced stat.
He really has definitely been one of the most dominant pitchers ever in our generation.
He's faced over 10,683.
My lord.
Wow, his career insane. ERA is 2.48. Career wins 210, 92 losses. 92 losses to 210
Do you see his
wins.
ERA from like 2013 to 14? It's 1.83, 1.77. Jesus.
Like, you can argue, postseason aside, and like I was telling you before this started, that it's a little overrated. Or overstated his postseason failures. You could argue just in regular seasons, comparing regular seasons, you could argue he's the best pitcher ever. Easily, you can make that argument. It's unreal. Given the level of competition, obviously past integration, the league is more global now. The talent is better on average. And just league average for ERA plus, it's always at 100. In his entire 16-year career, he had one season below average. And he was below average by 2 points his rookie season. Unbelievable.
He's insane.
I think he won Rookie of the Year too, didn't he? No, he didn't. He had to have gotten votes, though. Curious. He didn't get votes for Rookie of the Year that year. Okay. Unbelievable. His average for his career for ERA plus is 157. He's had multiple seasons of 200 ERA plus, 2 times better than average. Crazy. So I hope he doesn't call it a career, man.
No, I agree. I hope he doesn't either. I'm sure he's not. Because like I say, he just keeps locking him up in 1-year deals. So it's definitely gonna be really interesting. We'll see where they go from the offseason. Do you think? I guess one more question before I wrap up. Do you think this puts David Roberts on the hot seat at all, or like who do you think there should be any blame point? Not that we're trying to, but do you feel like? I mean, well, I guess I'm mostly just curious with Dave Roberts. Do you feel like his seat is a little warm right now, or like or it's just fine?
It might be. Should it be? I don't know. Gabe Kapler is one of the better managers in baseball. The Giants. We didn't talk about the managerial moves. Maybe we could do that after the World Series.
Okay.
As like a final episode, but before the offseason.
Yeah.
But Gabe Kapler is a free agent now, and people are going to be looking at him. As is
Craig Counsell.
Yes, Craig Counsell from the Brewers. So we'll see. Maybe they want to make a move there. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't have an answer for it. I think we'll find out within a week.
Hopefully the Mets find the manager soon. Well, we'll see. Craig Counsell, I know he's
Oh
looking like
yeah, I
that.
forgot. You guys don't have like a manager yet.
Nah, Buckshot. No, I mean they're saying Craig Counsell could be the guy because obviously Dave Stearns and
Yeah.
maybe he might bring him over because he's a free agent, so he's up for grabs. You know,
I just want to see what Gabe Kapler can do with the real roster. The fact that the Giants were in it for as long as they were is astounding. They literally didn't have a pitching rotation, which we have chronicled on here. Okay.
all right.
Congratulations, Astros. Congratulations, Diamondbacks. Congratulations, Rangers.
Keep making the playoffs fun.
Yeah.
All right. Now, be sure to check out our revamped website at www.easternobserver.com for the latest news in the world of baseball and so much more. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Battin Chattin for my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team. I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the Lone Star series, and for now, we have the Phillies beating the Braves and advancing to face the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. So we'll find out soon. But everybody have a great week.